Hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are in this amazing world. My name is Donovan Jolly, and welcome everybody once again for another amazing video of DIY investing. Today I wanted to go through and give you guys a rundown on all of the top coins by market cap. I just wanted to give you guys some technical analysis. Maybe a lot of you guys have had a lot of coins that I personally haven't covered on this channel. So today I figured would be a great opportunity for me to actually go through, look at all those top market cap coins, go through, do some basic analysis, and kind of give you guys my overall assumption as far as where I think the market direction is headed. There's a lot of coins that I don't actually get to cover on this channel just due to the fact that there's just so many out there, and certain ones only catch my interest and other ones don't. And so today I'm going to be going through, giving you guys an all-around analysis as far as all the coins that I may have missed. If you're new and just finding this channel, always remember to do me a favor by leaving a like, comment, and subscribing to this channel for more updates. Make sure you guys click that notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos like the one provided for you here. And always remember, guys, I have the best Discord community for you guys to join in crypto, over 17,000 members, and it's growing so fast. It's free for anybody that wants to join. All you guys got to do to join is to click inside the description of this video, and there you're going to find the invitation link to my Discord server. Now, on the Discord server, I also offer my more exclusive content like the video course and signals. So if you're somebody that wants to learn how to sign up for my VIP programs, whether it's my video course that'll teach you guys how to trade, or whether you guys would rather just copy my portfolio along with all the trades that I take, make sure you guys stay all the way to the end of this video, because then I'm going to be taking a couple minutes to explain how you guys can get signed up, the pros of doing so, and what it's going to take to get you guys going today. Now, before we get into the video, guys, make sure you download your free copy of my ebook. It's over 38 pages long, full of exciting information that's going to teach you guys all the basics of trading and investing inside of these cryptocurrency markets. There's also a page full of terminology that you guys can go through, learn, and then I've also put a quiz in that, so you guys can go read all of the content of the ebook and then quiz yourself on the knowledge learned so you guys can fully retain all the information. If you guys were ever curious about what I offer inside of my VIP groups, the ebook is actually going to give you guys a lot of insight as to what I do and what you guys will be learning by signing up. So make sure you guys download your free copy full of exciting information. And with all that being said, guys, let's jump right into this video today. Alrighty, guys, so first things first, we're just going to go through and take a look at all these random coins that are in the top 10. Really, I'm just going to pick through and kind of go through my favorite ones. If I've talked about them on this channel, I'm probably not going to go through them today. I would rather just kind of wait and have you guys that maybe have a lot of coins that don't get mentioned have your opportunity to actually get some analysis done. So first things first, we're going to leave out Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP. I've talked a lot about those. Maybe let's go into some of these like Bitcoin Cash. So first things first, let's dive into this right now. So Bitcoin Cash, let's remove all these drawing tools. Bitcoin Cash, to me, you know, when I see this, it looks like we might be getting some a little bit of relief here. Now, I think that we could bounce, especially if Bitcoin sells off. I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin Cash has a little bit of a relief, about a 20% relief, at least back up to this resistance. And I just think that that's going to be the likely scenario if we do get a bounce. And so it looks like on the short term, we are a little bit seller exhausted and we might get a little bit of a bounce upwards of that resistance. But overall, when I see this chart, guys, it just reminds me a lot of early day Bitcoin. And really, that's the story of all of these alts. You know, Bitcoin made this same type of accumulation where we had the low, we made a higher low, we made the low, we made a higher, we made the low here. This was like the bottom of the trend. Then we kind of made this dead cat bounce up into resistance. We get rejected. We fall back down onto previous support. We make another attempt to break out that gets rejected. And then this is really the final accumulation before we get that breakout. It looks just like 2015 Bitcoin. And it makes sense because this is just the Bitcoin Cash hard fork of Bitcoin. And so, you know, when I look at this, guys, whether we go down a little bit lower from here, even after we get this little bit of a relief, you know, we could fall all the way back down to retest the first capitulation lows, which would be about $80 per Bitcoin Cash. But overall, I'd expect that dip to get bought up, and then we would eventually be rallying up. No matter what, I do believe that we're going to be bullish inside of this cycle. I believe all of these altcoins are going to pump. And with Bitcoin Cash maintaining that top stance inside of the market cap, I think that that gives a little bit more trust for random retail investors to buy this. You know, it's not just going to fall off completely and never pump again unless some major hack happened. But even then, look at Ethereum Classic. It's still going around from all of this. And so, you know, a lot of these alts, majority of these alts are going to pump. Any random any random coin out there is just gonna pump, which is why the best thing that we can do is just focus in on that and know that, potentially we could be buying another little bit of Bitcoin Cash down here at 80 bucks, which, would be quite a big percent return if we managed to break all-time highs, would be about 50x. And so it's one of those that you could randomly throw a couple $100 in and just see kind of where it goes. Regardless, we could hold support where we're at and just kind of round out, but I do think that this is just mainly in the accumulation phase, and that's the thing that we need to watch out for. So next up is Binance Coin. Let's go take a look at BNB. I think that this one is really one of the stronger looking alts out there. Let's remove all these drawing tools. So when I see this, guys, really it's very obvious that this is just a big 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is wave 1, this was wave 3, and then this was wave 5, right? And then this was our corrective move back down. And you could call it an ABC, you could call it whatever you want, kind of funky looking ABC, but either way, just a corrective move back down. And then from here, this is really our first impulses as we've kind of started to break out of some of these resistances. And so this entire move is just a one wave. And I do believe that this cycle is going to get very parabolic, especially with Binance Coin being such a big leader in the marketplace itself. It's one of the biggest cryptocurrency exchanges. They're also releasing their DEX. They also have, basically they're becoming the Crypto.com, but for Binance, and they have their own card, which is Swipe, and you're going to be able to earn cash back and interest off of all your purchases. And so all of these things are going to be really big. They're pretty much at the forefront of every single big innovative move, and I do believe that they're going to continue to see that, and their chart translates this. This is one of the best performing cryptos, especially in 2018. It had one of the lesser of the bear markets. And then when it impulsed, this thing kind of led the market as far as that goes. When Bitcoin started taking off in 2019, Binance Coin really started taking off, and it actually broke all-time highs. And so even though we've had a corrective move back down, this to me just looks like a big rounded bottom formation. And we have flipped a couple major resistances. We had this resistance here at about 26 bucks. We are technically above it as support. Whether that holds or not, we're going to have to watch and see. But when I look at this chart, this looks to me like we could be seeing something like this. This was wave 1. This was wave 3, and we could get one more impulse that's going to take us back up to that all-time high mark or close to it. Or we could also be seeing something a little bit more bearish where this is wave 1, this was wave 3, and then this was wave 5. And we're about to see a little bit of a bigger corrective move, which this would be something like an A, B, C. And we'd probably fall back down to about 20 bucks. Somewhere right around there. And then from there, we probably would round out, and then we keep going up, something along the lines of that. And so this is just all some scenarios that I'm personally watching for. But overall, I think Binance Coin is going to be one of the leaders, and it's showing a lot of strength right now, even with the market kind of selling off. So let's go take a look at Polkadot next. This is one of my favorite long-term holds. I really love the whole idea of the Polkadot ecosystem and what all of these side chains are going to be doing. And so let's come over here and take a look at this. To me, this is looking bearish for sure. This reminds me a lot of like 6K Bitcoin, where, we made that descending triangle and we just kind of went lower and lower before selling off. And so I personally think that this one's about to fully retrace from where we pretty much just got added to exchanges. So probably right down in this range from about $3 to about $2.50 approximately. I do believe that we're going to end up selling off and dropping lower here. But it's going to create a really solid buying opportunity because this itself is just a big descending triangle. It makes much more likely sense to me that we're going to sell through this and end up fully retracing. We could even drop lower than that. It's really hard to say because there isn't a ton of price history based off of this chart. But, overall, I'm still bearish. Lower highs, lower lows. Well, lower highs all the way through. We've maintained this horizontal support level. I do strongly believe that this is going to sell off. And when that happens, we're going to get a pretty decent pullback. And so, from where we're at currently, if we fully retrace, you're looking at about a 30% drop, which, I think that very easily could be the bottom. But like I said, it really just depends on what ends up happening and how the market structure looks. Because, this could be a quick bleed like that, and then we could get bought up really quickly, and we might have to go chop around here for a while before we end up making any type of significant impulse. And so we're just going to watch and see. But overall, for me, if you're looking to buy it, I would personally be looking to buy it anywhere about $3 range, $2.50 to $3. That's personally where I think would be the best opportunity because it looks a little bit more like sellers are taking over right now. Chainlink, we're going to leave out this one. Yeah, screw it. We might as well jump into it. I haven't made an update on Chainlink for a little bit, but, this is one that I personally was shorting. Made some money off of that. You know, a lot of people made fun of me when they found out I was shorting because I actually bought the very bottom. And that's the funny thing, guys, is like I'm just mainly looking to trade both directions. You know, right here at well, technically it was a little bit lower. Down here at $7.90 is where we bought, so pretty much the bottom. We made some nice profit, and then we started shorting over here. I expected it to sell through support, which it did. And now I'm just basically watching for more downside. I personally think that we're headed to about 650. And it's possible we could even drop it down to about $5 approximately. And so I'm just going to continue to play my cards, wait on the sidelines for now. You know, I did manage to buy a pretty solid amount of Chainlink right here, down here at about $7.90. And so overall, you know, I am kind of leveraged into this market, but overall I would be even happier if we manage to make one more low. If we could come back down to about 660 approximately, I'm going to be looking to buy more. Whether we go lower than that, you know, I'm going to look to probably just buy at $5 if we do manage to get a significant drop. But, you know, for me, 660 is going to be the likely scenario in which I think we're going to bounce. If we go lower, you know, I've got extra cash on the sidelines ready to buy because I personally am really invested into this coin. I like this one long term. I think that it solves a significant use case. And for that, you know, I'm going to continue to do my part and just kind of, you know, buy that dip. We're still hanging below resistance. I think it's more likely that we'd hit that 660, and from here we'd be able to break out of it. But I think we still need one more significant low before we are fully bullish. Now, next up on the list is going to be Litecoin. Litecoin, not one of my favorite coins, not going to lie, but it's kind of in the same stance as Bitcoin Cash. I think that those are both pretty much similar, whereas I think, you know, we might get a little bit of relief here inside of Litecoin. That's going to take us upwards of about $52. And it's possible, you know, this could be the bottom, guys. That's another big thing. This could be the bottom on all these before we make a big impulse up. But, you know, at the very least, I think we're heading back up to about $50 per Litecoin, which really isn't that much. But, you know, if you're looking for a little short-term scalp opportunity, you know, you really could make a little bit of profit doing that. And so when I see this, guys, it just looks to me like it's not one of my favorite altcoins. I'm not going to lie. You know, when I look at this chart, I personally just don't see all the same potential that a lot of people see. You know, for me, when I look at Litecoin, it's just not one of my favorites because when you look at the Bitcoin pair specifically, it's just an eternal downtrend. And it's making the same market cycle fractal, except for whereas Ethereum exponentially increases, or, you know, XRP exponentially increases on the Bitcoin pair, Litecoin exponentially decreases in value. And so the pumps become less significant, the rewards become less significant, and it's in an eternal downtrend. So by holding Litecoin, you're basically not even making enough to outperform Bitcoin when pretty much every altcoin will outperform Bitcoin. And so that for me is the big reason why I don't like to touch this coin. It's just not one of my favorite altcoins. But overall, it's most likely just going to continue to follow whatever Bitcoin Cash does, whatever those two. They're pretty correlated as far as price goes. You know, I think that that's really the big thing to watch out for. You know, we have technically kind of flipped this resistance, you know, and this could be us retesting it. And so this is like looking like a pretty decent time where you could be buying, but overall, it's just not one of my favorite coins, and I don't really care to hold that long term, and so I don't really trust it a whole lot. Now, next up on the list is going to be Crypto.com, and I actually really love this chart setup. You know, it's been one of my favorite ones for a while, but I am bearish on it, not going to lie. When I look at this chart, this thing looks like it needs a pretty significant drop, but it's really interesting because this entire chart pattern itself, this entire big swing up, it looks a lot like the entire 2016-2017 altcoin cycle, where we went really parabolic, and it looks just the same. Like right here is kind of that midway cool-off that we saw. In the altcoins, this would have been Ethereum at about $450 before it went to $1,400. And so it's following that same type of market structure of a parabolic trend, right? And that's really what I see out of this, except now really what I see is the fact that we are in a downtrend, and this is a big descending triangle that's about to fail support. And so this one is about to make a pretty significant drop. You know, I'd bet it would drop another 30% at least. You know, that's probably, yeah. So about 30%, which is going to take us back to the previous all-time high, approximately, right around there. And that's going to take us to about 10 cents. I do strongly believe we're going to get one more big drop. That's going to be a great buy the dip opportunity because this is going to be us retesting the all-time high. You know, obviously we're in price discovery at this point, but I do think that we're going to need one more shakeout to fully encapsulate that. And then we'll drop down here, make one more low. And then from here, I do believe that we're going to get a nice strong impulse back out into new all-time highs. Because when I see this, you know, this to me, from a market cycle perspective, this just looks like a one wave. This looks like, it looks like a couple different things. This could be just a big one wave, where this is the 1, this is the 3, and this is the 5, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up. And then this is really our first corrective move in that bear sequence where we have A, B, C. And we'll correct back down to 10 cents, retest the previous all-time high. And then the interesting thing about that is the fact that this entire move turns into a one wave. And then we're going to get really parabolic and really impulsive after this, because this is going to be price discovery. And so for me, this is actually one that I'm going to be looking to buy. I managed to miss out on the opportunity when it was a lot cheaper, although I was watching this one pretty closely. You know, all the way back down in here, I was watching this, thinking about buying it, and I didn't. Stupid move, but it's whatever. You can't win them all. But with that being said, you know, I do believe that we're going to be getting a lot more impulses from here. Because the funny thing about this is just wave 1 of 3. We still have wave 3 of 3, and we still have wave 5 of 3. And then that, at the end of the day, that only completes wave 1, or wave 3, I mean. Because this is wave 1, this would be wave 3, and then we'll still get a wave 5 to fully close out this cycle, you know. And that's the way that I'm personally going to be watching for this. And so when we see this, and we see this thing at 10 cents, you know, it very easily could be hitting $1, which, you know, is about, you know, 10x, which really isn't too crazy. But the thing about this, guys, is we have a whole bull run. It's impossible to predict how high these things are going to go. And in fact, we could see this thing worth way more, especially the fact you can earn so much cash back off of using Crypto.com. It's such a no-brainer for people to use it. I mean, why would you use a bank when you could just have a Crypto.com card, and then you can also be earning interest off of just cash back off purchases, then you could use it to stake as well. And so it's just a money machine, in my opinion. That's my biggest reason for liking this. It has a lot of different ways to profit off of it. And I do strongly believe that we're going to continue to see a very hyped cycle. And so one more good buying opportunity is going to come back down here at the all-time high. If you missed out on this one, I recommend that being the time to actually pursue this, because that's really when I'm going to be doing that myself. So now next up, let's go take a look at, I'm going to skip BSV because I really just don't care about it. Cardano, you know, I haven't talked about this one in a while. I always talk about this. This one to me, it's below resistance. We're going to have to kind of watch and see what's going to happen here, because it is possible that we could continue to get one more impulse right here. But, you know, the way it's looking right now, it's looking a little bit less likely. And when I see this, you know, we're technically closing below the previous resistance that I wanted to hold above. And so it's not looking quite as good as it once was, which is why we're just going to have to pay attention. Right now we're below resistance. You know, we sold back below that. It is possible that we could reclaim this, but, you know, as long as we're below resistance, we're going to have to wait for price to just prove which direction it's going to go. But when I see this, I think it's a little bit more likely that we're going to come down for a pretty decent leg. You know, I think it ends up back at about 5 cents, which would be about here, approximately. It's going to come back down to test some of those lower support levels unless, you know, we can reclaim this level right there. You know, the first level that we have to reclaim that we're below is about 10 cents. If we manage to continue to below resistance right here at 10 cents, we're going to be falling to 5 cents. And so this one to me isn't looking nearly as good as it once was. I personally believe it was going to hold support above here and go into price discovery. But, you know, Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrency markets had other plans. Realistically, we just have a little bit more time to accumulate. And so long term, you know, I still think that this is a really solid hedge against Bitcoin. Or not Bitcoin, but Ethereum. You know, Ethereum has all of its ETH 2.0 problems. It's not scalable. It's not this. It's not that. It's too expensive and slow, right? Well, Cardano aims to do away with all of that. And so we're going to watch and see really what happens here. But for me, you know, it's really important that I have somewhat of a diversification aside from Ethereum, because Ethereum is one of my big holdings. You guys already know that. And so Cardano for me is just a play where I can put some money away, and who knows, maybe ETH 2.0 falls apart, and coins like this, like Cardano, are actually going to perform really good because they're going to gain a lot more attraction just because Ethereum was unable to do the thing it set out to do. And so what is Cardano? Well, it's already proof of stake. It's already what Ethereum was trying to set out to become with ETH 2.0. And so because of that, you know, I have a little bit more faith that I'm going to trust this, and it's really oversold. You know, from its entirety, this thing crashed harder than the majority of other alts, and it did maintain a top 10 status. And so because of that, I think that we're going to continue to go up. You know, maybe this is the bottom before we make another swing up. I would like to see that. But we're going to watch and see. We're kind of in a no trade zone for me. I'm either going to be looking to buy the dip, or, you know, I've already been buying this since all the way back down in here. So for me, I'm just in profit, and I'm waiting for it to confirm what direction it wants to go. Alrighty guys, so this one actually pumped today, and this one is going to be EOS. I know a lot of you guys hold this. This one really honestly doesn't look too bad. This one looks a lot better than some of the other alts out there. You know, we actually managed to break out of this descending resistance. So when I see this, I don't know what the hell it is, but we broke from the descending resistance. We've had this long accumulation that's been going on. Every time we get to this level, we seem to be in accumulation, and we're now getting a little bit of markup. And so this is looking pretty solid. The coins like EOS, Litecoin, and Bitcoin Cash, some of those older ones, they actually look pretty solid right now. And I'm wondering if potentially what we could see is Ethereum and Bitcoin get rejected, fall for one more low, and then that leaves a little bit more room for some of these other altcoins to actually get a little relief. And I know that that's kind of counterintuitive because, with Bitcoin and Ethereum selling off, that generally has caused all the other altcoins to sell off as well. But one of the things that we did see in the last cycle that people don't necessarily remember, because, the majority of you weren't here for the last cycle, or the majority of you weren't studying the charts as much to even pick up this pattern. But this was one thing that happened quite often. Sometimes the higher caps, they would deviate themselves from Bitcoin. When Bitcoin would drop and get one final sell-off, it would give a little bit of relief for those to rise. And oftentimes this would come at the top of a Bitcoin move. Bitcoin would impulse really hard. It would top out up here. And then when it started selling off, altcoins would rally. And so this could be something that we have happen, whereas it hasn't happened for the entirety of this bear cycle because it's been in a different trend. But the second that the genuine bull run starts, which I still think we're in accumulation overall, when the genuine bull run starts, we are going to see that type of flipping happening. And we're going to see them kind of, sometimes Bitcoin will rally, then it'll dump. And then when it dumps, we'll see altcoins rally. And we haven't seen that up to this point. And so when it's looking like this, I do believe that we could very easily see something like this where we see some altcoins really start to break out when Bitcoin, when Ethereum start to sell off. And so we're going to watch and see. But overall, I think EOS looks good. We are breaking from some descending resistance. This looks like a big, long accumulation. And when this thing rallies, I expect it to happen pretty quick. And so if you weren't ready beforehand, you want to get in before all of it happens. Obviously, for me personally, am I holding EOS long term? No, I'm not. I'm really not interested in it. It's centralized, and I really don't like it very much when I can just hold Ethereum or I can hold Cardano. So it's just not really my type of thing. Now, next up is going to be XMR. XMR actually looks really good. I'm not going to lie. I love how XMR looks right this second. This one is kind of outpacing the rest of the market, and it looks like it's about to be breaking out of its accumulation range. I absolutely love this setup right here. This is just exact classic example of 2015 Bitcoin. We had the exact same accumulation structure here. Exactly the same, and now we're actually getting ready to break out from that high. And the thing to understand here, guys, is if we can clear above this resistance here at about $120, if we can clear above this resistance, that is a confirmed double bottom formation breakout. And so the way a double bottom works is you have a bear trend, and then we go through this accumulation phase, right? So we have bottom number one, that's right here. This is the first reaction at a low. Then we make a lower high. We fall back down, we make a second lower high and attempt to break out, and then this is where we get our second bottom, right? This is bottom number two. And then once we break out from the resistance, which is the very top of this move at $120, once we break out from that, that is a confirmed trend reversal of this entire bearish trend. So you can see double tops and you see double bottoms. Double bottoms are a lot longer in duration because it's coming after a massive market cycle. So it takes a lot more time to accumulate, to build a base for investors to come in and lay a foundation. But once they start breaking out, they happen really quickly. And what we're seeing right here is a textbook example. If you go look at the early 2015 Bitcoin cycle, when Bitcoin went from $1,150 all the way down to $160, during that $160 to $200 range, this is where we made the exact same reversal pattern. It's called a double bottom. And once we break out of 120, that's a go-to, guys. This is going to really show the altcoins are reversing. It's showing that there's a lot more strength in altcoins. And most importantly, it's showing that we're actually leaving the accumulation range and we're heading into the new market cycle. And so it's very encouraging that we're seeing Monero doing stuff like this. It's a very textbook example of a double bottom reversal. And so with this one of the high caps doing this, pay attention for the high caps, guys, because they're looking really strong right now. Now, next up is going to be TRON. TRON, never been the biggest fan of it overall, but I do honestly think that it's going to perform well. When I look at this chart, it's really not one of my favorites, not going to lie. I do see the potential in it, but, it's just really not my favorite looking thing right now. And so, I do think that this is going to see some value due to the fact that Ethereum has so much attraction. I do believe that we're going to get a lot more farming and yield and yielding from all of that. And so I think that Tron will be a likely scenario for it to do good just because of how expensive Ethereum is. And so I personally will watch it just for that one reason. But regardless from that, this just looks like an early impulse. I think that we still have some downside potential, but we could be flipping this major support level. And so when I see this, guys, for me, I'm not trading this. It's just really not the greatest looking setup for me, but I could be wrong in it. I'm sure it's going to go up. That's the thing, is I'm sure all of these are going to go up, but Tron is just not one of my favorites. Now, OKB, I was watching this one. I couldn't sign up for their exchange to actually buy it at one point. And I'm kind of sad that I didn't, because it's really just done phenomenal. And really, it's only kind of just stayed in the same area. It is a little bit higher, but I love how this setup looks. Just a very clear uptrend. It's a very strong uptrend. Even with all the selling pressure we've got, it still managed to do very well. And so because of that, I think this is a good setup. If you guys could find a way to buy this, which is just their exchange token, if you guys could find a way to buy this, I think this is a very good long-term play. Yes, it is possible that we could fall once again and retest this trend line before going up, but regardless, I think that this is going to be providing a lot of upside potential. It is a high cap coin, so the value potential isn't going to be quite as high, but it's still something to look out for. Now, Tezos is one that I haven't talked about in a while. The chart setup just hasn't really looked super good. Overall, I managed to buy some more here at $2.50. We did make a leg lower, but it's fine, guys. That's just the way that sometimes it's going to work. Now, when I see this, I think that we might get a short-term bounce back up to about $2.75. Whether we bounce higher than that, we're going to have to watch and see. But I do think that we're in for some relief here. Now, if we zoom out to about a weekly time frame, we can see that we came pretty close to one of our basic support levels. Pretty much retested it again. This is really the strong support level that I was watching for. I don't think that we need to sell off much lower since we already came so close to it. And I do believe that we're going to get a bounce. I think that we could even see a bounce back upwards of about $3. And then from here, we're going to watch and see whether we're going to keep going higher, whether we're going to go lower. It's hard to tell right now. It really hinges upon what happens with Bitcoin. But when I look at this chart, this to me just looks like something like a big 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a 5. Something along the lines of that. It's kind of hard to say specifically. We could be seeing a couple different things. But when I look at this, it's really more of a long-term hold for me. I get paid staking. And when we zoom it out to a bigger time frame, this is us merely flipping this previous resistance. And so we might get a couple reactions at this level. But regardless, I think that this looks really solid for the long-term prospect that we're going to be seeing. And, it looks a little bit like Chainlink even, where Chainlink made the same type of consolidation back at the COVID crash. And I'll actually come over here. Now let's print it over so that you guys can actually make an assumption as far as what I'm talking about here. Let's go take a look at Chainlink, and I'm going to share with you guys exactly what I'm talking about, because that might not have made very much sense. So right here, this to me just looks very similar to what we saw in Chainlink. Pretty much the same type of market structure where we got the two little fake outs here. It looks very, very much the same, I think. And this is what I think is going to continue to play out for the most part. This is pretty much the same thing. I've always viewed Tezos as just a little bit behind Chainlink as far as the market structure. But this, to me, looks very similar. We make the build up. Same thing happens here. We get the blow off top. Same thing happens right here. Let's drag this up a little bit higher. So let's go through here and analyze this. This is really the build up. Same thing happened down here. We rally up, make our first blow off top. Then we fall back down, crash, retest some of the support, make another attempt, fall a little bit lower. Same thing happens here. This one just doesn't come down all the way as low. Then we make another attempt to break out, and we just barely get high enough. Just barely make a new all-time high. Same thing happened right here. And then we get one last sell-off to come and retest some of these lows. And this is pretty much the same thing that Chainlink did, right? Almost the same consolidation. And then what ended up spawning from that was a massive, massive impulse as we broke out and went into price discovery. And so I really do think that we could be seeing something like that, something along the lines of this, just because of how correlated these two actually have been from the time being. I still think that these two are really solid long-term picks. I'm still very much bullish on Tezos. I just haven't covered it in a while, and so I wanted to cover it right here for you guys. But I've still been buying it. I bought some more at $2.50. I've got a lot of Tezos staking. I'm earning quite a bit of Tezos every couple of days. And for that, I still have a long-term bullish stance on this. I still think we're massively above support. And it looks pretty much the same as what Chainlink did, where we had the previous resistance, we broke out from that, and then we just retested a couple times before going into price discovery. So realistically, I'm still bullish. I still think everybody should pay attention for this one, so watch out for it. Now we're going to finish things up. I'm going to go over Stellar and I'm going to go over Neo just because I haven't really talked about those much on the channel, and I still like both of those setups. Now I think that all of these are looking really strong. Not going to lie. I think that this is just retesting a really major level. Now we're still below resistance. This has been a pretty gnarly resistance for a while, but when we look at Elliott Wave Theory, this to me just looks like a 1, 3, and a 5. And then we got our corrective move back down to support of the 3 and the 4, which is generally what you find inside of Elliott Wave Theory. So this is just wave 1. I do believe we're going to get wave 3 that's going to take us, we could see wave 3 even take us upwards of 30 cents. But at the very least, I think that we're heading upwards of about, 17 to 18 cents. Get a little pullback. And then from there, we might get the final 5 wave, which actually takes us upwards of 30 cents. Regardless, I think that this is going to be the start of the uptrend. And so we need to watch and see. Overall, I think things are looking pretty solid for a lot of these high caps. Some of them look better than others, obviously, but we just need to pay attention because this is just a big market cycle, guys. Stellar looks super, super good from a market cycle perspective. This is just a big rounded bottom. This is us building that foundation of that bottom. And I do believe that this is going to eventually lead us into price discovery as we just continue this accumulation. And so we're still in the buy the dip mode. I still think everything is a solid buy the dip. And, I might be looking to actually average into some more positions, aside from the fact that I told you guys I was waiting for more downside. That's for Ethereum. That's for Bitcoin. But some of these other high caps look decent, like Stellar Lumens. This looks like a really solid buy the dip scenario. So I'm going to be looking into signals to be posting and sharing them for you guys inside my Discord. So make sure you guys check out my VIP content. Now let's look at the one last coin here before we finish things up, because I absolutely love how this one looks. This to me just looks like a quick little impulse. This is pretty much just a 1, a 3, and then a 5 impulse, and now we're just kind of correcting back down. I think we're going to find support roughly where we're at. We might fall a little bit lower, but to me this just looks like a really solid opportunity where we will get a lot more upside. This is just wave 1. Then what comes next is wave 3, and then I think that we'll eventually find us all the way back upwards of about $94. Something along the lines of that. And you guys might laugh at me for saying that, but when market cycles take off, this is the way they go. And if you weren't ready beforehand, you completely miss the final product, and which is going to be massive breaking out market cycles, right? And so pay attention for this one. Just a long accumulation that we're now breaking from. When we see coins like XMR, like Binance Coin that are really starting to take off, it's a good opportunity for you guys to just invest and keep buying more crypto. And so, I wanted to give you guys this update, talk about some cryptos that I haven't talked about. These are coins that I haven't really covered before. So I wanted to give you guys the update, make sure you guys were aware of everything. Now quickly, before we finish up the video, I want to take a minute to explain how you guys can sign up for the video course and the signals for the people that want to. First things first, when you get into this market, the best thing you can do is follow somebody that knows what they're doing. If you guys want to get access to all my signals, you're going to know exactly what I'm holding, what prices I'm buying, what prices I'm selling, what my portfolio looks like for my long-term holds. So you guys can fully just copy me and make all of the same profit that I make along this cycle. Because at the end of the day, you getting in here, you have no idea anything about the project's fundamentals. Most of you guys don't really even know anything about trading. And so you're kind of just blindly following the market. And that's going to cause you to make emotional decisions, which are irrational decisions that cause losses. The best thing that you can do is follow my course. The best thing that you can do is follow my signals, because in the signals, I'm going to be able to break it down in a way that's going to make sense. You guys are going to be able to follow me step by step, and you're going to be able to make all of the same profit that I've been making over the last couple of years. We've had a lot of really solid trade setups, and it only continues to grow. I've made a lot of money since 2018, and this is a number that is only continuing to grow as we venture closer to 2021, which is going to be the year of all of the parabolic move. We are eventually going to be seeing these things breaking their all-time highs and making another cycle like this one, where everything just went super parabolic. We're going to see the exact same thing happen again, which is why it pays to get in early to my groups. You guys can sign up for the signals. I always recommend you guys do that first and foremost. By signing up for the signals, you guys are going to get access to all the trades that I take, all my portfolio, all the advanced analytics that I post, as well as insider information on all the newsletters. Now, Aside from that, for the people that would rather, you could also sign up for my VIP SIG. You could also sign up for my course, which is 20 educational videos that are going to teach you guys all of my strategies for profiting off crypto. So if you're somebody that already trades the markets, you want to do this full time, the course is going to be the thing for you. If you guys can purchase them together or separate, but if you guys can only pick one, I always recommend going with the signals first, because you guys can copy my portfolio, make some profit, and then take that profit and end up buying the course afterwards. And so once again, links are going to be provided for you guys in the description of this video. You guys can purchase them together or separate. Now, lastly, before I wrap things up, you guys can also download my free ebook. I really recommend you guys download that at least. You don't have to pay me anything. You guys just have to download the free ebook, go through, learn a little bit about what my VIP group is going to come with, how it's going to work, and then quiz yourself at the end of the contents to fully understand and encapsulate all the information learned inside of that. You guys can once again download that. Links are in the description of this video for either my video course or signals or the ebook. So make sure you guys check that out. And with all that being said, guys, I will catch you in the next video. As always, peace out.